podcast. Now these Rubber Boots podcast. We want to thank you for listening. We're sure you never thought we'd last. Oh no. We're gonna talk nothing, very little sports with your host Jimmy, your James. And now you know for sure that it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a blast, oh yes, 'cause this is the podcast.
So I'm driving into work today. I take a different route because I had to stop and see my boy Rocco to cut my hair. Rocco cuts my hair.
Your hair looks great.
Thank you. I wasn't fishing for a compliment there. It is spectacular, though, isn't
really
it?
Good, yeah.
So I stop at the Village Grocer, which is my old Markham grocery store.
Okay.
So, kind of shoo.
Is it like a fancy one?
It's a fancy grocery store. Lots
kind of like
stuff.
Pusateri's?
Kind of like that. Very, very similar. So I'm waiting in line at the sandwich counter. I'm going to buy my pesto chicken goat cheese wrap. And there's a lady with her kid behind me. About, I would guess, 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
My kids have grown up, so I've lost perspective.
Yeah.
And he's got a cake that they've gotten from the bakery in his hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a birthday cake. It's got some cute little kid design on the top inside in the thing.
Yeah.
So Jimmy likes to talk to the kids, right?
Of course.
I love the kids.
As long as you don't take their picture like dreads.
Right. So I turn around and I say, "Can I have that cake?" I thought it was a little cute thing to say. He goes, "No!" And then he starts screaming, "He's gonna take my cake from me! It's gonna take!" And then he's on the ground. He's on doing one of those full fits where he's face on the carpet. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. And the mom's like, "It's okay. Hey, it's okay. He's not gonna take the cake. The man's not gonna take your cake, Billy. He's not gonna take your cake."
Oh my gosh.
And then the sandwich ladies, "Wait, are you gonna order, sir?" And then everyone in the entire grocery store is looking, and it was a horrendous scene. And then, so finally, about 30 seconds later, he calms down. Like, I try to turn to the sandwich lady and order my sandwich. So the wailing stops after about 20 seconds, and he's back on his feet now. And I turn back, and he's like, it's okay, Billy. She's saying, the man's not going to take your cake. He was just kidding. And I go, Billy, I'm not going to, I promise I never take your cake. And she kind of looks at me like, just leave it alone, okay? Don't speak to my son again.
Wow. That's
so,
great.
I would say, look, it was a cute little scene, but that kid's damn spoiled.
Oh,
like, wait, come on.
For sure.
Or should you be wary of strangers?
I think the stranger danger really...
I lost my little dog. Can you help me find him?
Be suspicious of an adult asking for help.
Really
is it wrong to talk to children like that in line?
I don't know. I shouldn't be, but it might be.
Well,
would have been good if you doubled down later and were like, I'm taking that damn cake, Billy.
I just try to keep it simple. Hey, buddy, how are you? That's it.
Yeah, I guess it was a little aggressive when I think I had like a black hoodie on. Like, hey, I want your cake, boy.
Let me take your cake.
Let me take some of that cake.
And a sip of your pop.
That's one of the things I'm most proud of, though, is my kids never really had the flip outs, the spoiled kid flip outs in a store.
Yeah, I don't think I've had it either yet.
No, never.
They've been
never.
good.
Lester, any of yours? No, that's the thing, because that's the thing.
You see it for sure.
I want Daddy buy me this now.
Oh, no.
That never happened to me. Only one time. Jared, I took to Disney way too early when he was, I think, 2.5.
Yeah.
Which is, any parents out there, I'm sure a lot of our demographic is people with young kids.
Yeah.
Wait till 7, 8 to take your kids to Disney.
Or really, like we took Barrett at 10 months.
Okay, or really.
Like he didn't know where the hell he was.
So I love Disney. All right, I was a big Disney guy, and same with my wife, and so we were very anxious to take your kid to Disney. But we were get up at 8 a.m., go till 8 p.m. to every park, and by midday the second day he was wasted. Right, they're just wasted. It's stimuli overload, and so he lost it. I think at the restaurant in the Magic Kingdom, one of the restaurants. So one of those complete bawling attacks, like Billy with the cake in the grocery store. And so I got on the train, the little train that circles the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
We did 2 loops on the train, half an hour, still bawling. So then I tried the old, okay, we're leaving you here. You know, I set him down against the statue or whatever, said, we're leaving you here, and kind of walked 100 meters and hid behind something. Still bawling, no reaction, didn't come. Picked them up over my shoulder, the 10-minute walk to the little Disney bus stop, still bawling. The entire 25-minute bus ride home to Animal Kingdom, still bawling. The 10-minute walk to your hotel, because Animal Kingdom's big, still bawling. I sat on him in the room.
You sat on him?
Yeah, for like a half an hour till he fell asleep. It was about a 2-hour meltdown.
Oh, wow.
That was...
if I could just touch on something very quickly. You said you're a Disney guy, and I like some of the newer movies. I was never a big Disney guy. I was always a Looney Tunes guy.
Well, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn?
I said, boy, you're about as sharp as a bowling ball. Fortunately, I keep my feathers numbered just in case of such an emergency.
I'm a chicken hawk and you're my woman. You think some of those cartoons hold up in today's day and age?
Nothing holds up in
I would like to go back
age.
and watch Looney Tunes and see how inappropriate those are from a sexist, probably racist standpoint.
Apparently it's really bad.
Really?
Yeah.
There is a Little Red Riding Hood spin-off that they did, and one of the filthiest lines of all of cartoon, and then she says, "What's the matter? Aren't you gonna eat me?"
Is that like Wile E. Coyote or Sylvester the Cat?
I don't know what.
Yeah, I remember.
But it was one of them where they were,
Speaking of films, and by the way, I wasn't necessarily a Disney movie guy. I just loved going to Disneyland.
Right,
The rides and stuff were amazing.
Right.
A couple of updates on our screenplay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Evil Harvest. That's a working title right now. We're still looking for something better. If you missed a couple of episodes ago, we were brainstorming. Puffy and I had thought of doing a spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
Where we write a screenplay. Because Puffy has a big Hollywood producer who's a buddy.
Yeah.
And we have Adnan Verk, film critic. We're going to come together and maybe spend a season
just hashing out ideas.
Hashing out a movie. So anyway, I had this idea about an organ transplant gone awry from a serial killer. And
great idea.
Stuff happens. Billy Dotson, our great producer.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to his son Philip, big fan of the show.
He listens. Yes.
Nice. Hey, Philip.
Philip's been in the control room, I think, more than Billy over the years. Comes in every night. So Billy pointed out he saw a 1991 movie called Body Parts, which was somewhat similar. Some killer's arm was attached to another guy, and the guy couldn't control the arm.
Okay.
You lost your arm in a car accident yesterday. We've transplanted another arm for you.
I think there's something the matter with me. Oh! It's the arm.
Billy! What's going on?
There's something wrong with the person I used to belong to.
Body parts.
We're making history here.
Now, Billy said it was the worst movie he's ever seen.
Oh, then it won't be like this.
No, it won't be like ours. Is going to be brilliant. Ours is going to be like an art house film. And then one of our, Penic 15, one of our loyal listeners, told me to look back at the Simpsons episode where Snake, Jailbird Snake, remember Jailbird Snake? He gets killed. It might have been one of the Halloween ones.
Okay.
And Homer gets his hair. Okay. And Homer becomes a serial killer.
I think I remember that one.
He becomes Snake's hair, and there's some.
It's the problem. The Simpsons, they've basically foretold everything that's going to happen in the history of the world,
and they've killed every plot line ever.
Wow.
But there's some great. There's some great lines in that one which I had forgotten. Like Homer wakes up in the middle of the night, he's possessed by Snake's hair, and he leaves Marge's room and he says, "Later, Chickie Pie."
Later, Chickie Pie.
And then he goes and murders Apu.
Yeah.
Because I guess Apu had got him
in jail?
Snake sent to jail, and they cut to the news the next day with Kent Brockman. And Brockman says, and the fluffy kitten played with that ball of string all through the night. On a lighter note, a Quickie Mart clerk was brutally murdered last night. Good times. Oh my God, it's time for Roddy's Recap, brought to you by iDrinkCoffee.com.
Middle of the morning, can't keep my eyes open, cause I got to have a cup of jabber. I got to have a cup of jabber. So I better log on to iDrinkCoffee, iDrinkCoffee.com. Woo-hoo, iDrinkCoffee.com.
Last week, Duthie and Puff pulled the curtain back on what really goes on during their panel pre-show meetings.
It's pretty messed up. Lots of sex. Yeah. You know, full wiener in the air.
Oh my gosh.
Just like Roddy's CFL panel meetings. Things got eerie when Duthie got a visit from the ghost of Christmas future.
The season is over. I can't watch the Blue Jays, and I do not have my Blue Jay slippers.
And Duthie broke the bro code by revealing how Roddy spent his summer vacation.
Iceland.
I miss you all, my Nordic goddesses. Duthie also made a not-so-shocking revelation about last week's recap.
But I got a little moist.
That's nothing, Jimmy. Roddy could really turn it on, but I must warn you, your ladies will never be the same.
Tanya, turn off podcast now.
Relax, Puff. This pod could never handle that kind of invoice. Till next week, kids.
Roddy at his finest.
Nice.
Rod is bringing it this season.
As I walked in to tape the podcast,
yes,
Rod Baby was up at the podium earning extra invoices doing his Plays of the Week show.
Nice.
That's even bigger baller because he doesn't even go down to Studio 6 to do it. He's just like, you do it where I...
Shows up, 3 minutes, invoice, boom, and then he's on the road. He's going up to the Ottawa Valley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which actually I spent this weekend. We should probably get to the week that was.
Let's discuss the week that was with James Duthie and the Rubber Boots Podcast crew.
Before we get to our weekends, Stoff informs me that after our plea last week, after Bright Eyed Dougie gave us the 1-star review because I never sent him a book,
yes,
and it was pretty messed up.
Yes, that is pretty messed up by you,
which we heard in the recap. Bright Eyed Dougie has not reached out to us yet, even though we offered. We're trying to bring him back into the fold.
Hopefully, someone finds him.
We got to find Bright Eyed Dougie. If you know Bright Eyed Dougie, please bring him to us. But I guess a bunch of people went on and gave us 5-star ratings to raise our rating back up to 5 stars where it belongs.
See, but the thing is, how does that work? Because if you have a non-5-star rating, you should never get 5-star rating again. How do you get 100%?
Well, I think if you're like 4.87, they round it up.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that. So they should have done with my marks.
So thank you, and we appreciate you all going on. We don't care that much, but because it helps, I suppose, please go on and give us a 5-star rating if you enjoy the show. I had a... you guys want to go first, or you want me to talk about my weekend?
Go ahead.
Oh, please.
I went back to the nation's capital. I drove up. I had a lot of driving this weekend. I took my mom, ever since my dad passed.
Yes.
I said me and my mom have to get to a game. A Red Blacks game, because if you listen to the podcast or read my books, that's the one thing my mom and dad and I did for 20 years when I was growing up, and that was my dad's favorite thing. And just because of schedules and stuff, we haven't been able to do it all summer, so we went to the Red Blacks Ticats game on Friday night.
Good game to go to.
It was a fantastic football game. It was fun. I'm never in the stands anymore.
Yeah.
If I'm at a game, hockey or especially CFL, I'm usually hosting or whatever, and so it's been a long time since I just sat there with a beer in my hand watching the game, which was very fun. But I wasn't going to share this with you guys, but I figure I share intimate stuff on this pod, so I will. But we took... I said to my dad on his deathbed that I was going to take some of his ashes and spread them on the football field in Ottawa.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah, and so I got Mom to put a baggie of his ashes.
Okay.
And she stuffed it in her pocket, and we drove up to Ottawa. And first we went to see my sister quickly, who lives right by the football stadium there, and had a quick dinner. And the bag of ashes was leaking for a second. So just my mom pulled it out of her pocket, and it some of the ashes sprayed on the kitchen table.
Yeah.
And so my mom gets a credit card to gather the ashes, and my nephew Mac, who's 25, he's going. He was in shock. It's it looks like Nana's about to do cocaine with Papa's ashes. 'Cause she's on the table with the credit card, putting the ashes.
To have good form,
putting the ashes in a line.
Oh, that's funny.
And then we waited till the end of the game, and I had passes for us to go down, but I forgot that one of the cool things they do in Ottawa, everybody gets let on the field.
Really?
So I thought it was just going to be, a couple lingering football players and Matthew Shinetti and my mom and I, but there was 1,000 people on the field. So you're trying to dump. We went to center field where I was sprinkling them around. Now I've heard it.
So how did you do it? Did you put it in your hand and then sprinkle?
No, I just threw the baggie.
Through the baggie.
Yeah.
Sprinkle.
Now I've heard it's illegal to do this, and so
I've heard that too.
If anybody with the Ottawa Red Blacks is listening, sorry, but I was going to do this no matter what, so sue me. But we went to center field, and it's just a little bag of ashes anyway. but the wind was blowing, and a few people were stopping me to get photos and stuff, right? And I'm trying to have this moment with my mother, and the wind was blowing, so like half the ashes end up on my shoes. So now I'm scraping the ashes off my shoes. But having said all that, it was still a very
really cool.
It was wonderful that we got it done, and yeah, it was special to go with my mom to that game and know that it's a hokey thing, but it's not, right? Like it's gonna, for me, every time I go back to that stadium, I think about him anyway. So to have that out there in some way is kind of neat.
And it's just you and your mom that went? Just the two of you?
Yeah, just the two of us.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
just
nice,
the two
man.
of us.
That's nice.
Yeah. So
I told my guys to I want my ashes buried at Wrigley Field.
Do you?
Yeah.
Buried or dumped like
Dumped,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little tougher for them to get on the field.
At Wrigley?
The Cubs changed their policy.
Does one of your buddies have a chance to make it as a late bloomer to the, to the Cubs?
Well, maybe my boys there start working on their infield.
Do you mean that, though?
Yeah, I told them.
But why Wrigley Field?
I love that park, and I want them to do like a road trip to somewhere to do it. I didn't want to, Rogers said.
Do you remember the Mark Harmon, Jodie Foster movie, Stealing Home?
Jesus, has every idea been taken?
No. Stealing Home is a movie where I think Jodie Foster dies, and Mark Harmon's, I can't remember if it was his ex-girlfriend or just they were friends, and she says, I don't know what the character's name is, but Mark will know what to do with the ashes. And he spends the whole movie trying to figure out what she means by that, what she wants done with the ashes, where she wants them dumped, basically. So, and I think it ends up being, they used to watch horses jump off. There's some place in like Coney Island or something where horses jump off a dock.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
And that's what he figures it out in the end. He jumps off the dock or he throws the ashes off the
Screw
dock
Wrigley
where the
Field. That's where I want mine.
Are you going to get cremated?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the right move. Yeah.
I think so too. I don't want that
when I'm
body
dead,
in the
bones
ground.
and stuff.
When you're dead,
Yeah,
that's probably
let me point that out.
probably a smart move.
Whoa, geez, a little early.
Puffy's a little offside. You know what I mean?
a little early.
I'm not a fan of the, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but I don't like really the open caskets. I know some religions.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
I don't like it either. You know, I don't. You know what it is for me is I don't like to have that be my last memory of the person. You know, depending on who it is, right?
So if I go,
yeah,
because I could go at any second
for sure. By murder.
Where do I want some of mine? Golf course somewhere.
Of course.
Hey, could you do Augusta for me?
Sure. I'll do that.
Hey?
I'll take some.
You imagine if you got caught spreading my ashes on the 18th green at Augusta, how quickly they would
chance of doing that.
You would be in jail so fast.
Yeah, they'd put me in Master's jail, which is worse than real jail.
They are.
I would take some down there and just a little spring. But you know that whole place is covered in ashes.
You think so?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
There's so many people that are doing that.
I would take that, or even Cabot.
Cabot. Okay.
I was going to say Cabot. I would think Cabot would be.
And by the time I die, hopefully I'll be in the Cabot like 20 more times.
And then the Gansevoort.
The Gansevoort on the beach at the Gansevoort. They'll sprinkle them into the ocean there. That would be good. Or in the villa.
Jeez, I'm gonna
just
have a lot
sprinkle
of
them all over. Yeah, you're gonna have to cash in. It's gonna be fun for you. Tanya, we have to do another one.
Yeah, do another run.
And where else? It's Studio 6.
Studio 6?
Yeah. Whoever.
How quickly would that get swept up?
Whoever the bastard is that steals my job, sprinkle them right in their face.
I know. Who would get that gig? There'd be a lot of people gunning for it.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
Everybody, let's face it, they all want me out now, right?
Yeah,
they're hoping this thing comes through tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've been also playing a lot of golf, and my new golf parties. I've replaced you because you haven't been able to make it out much. Hasn't been able to make it out much.
Yep.
Beep that name when we do the pod.
Yes, I was about to say.
And so I started play with Bob McKenzie's son, Sean, who also works for another network, but it's okay. You can mention him.
Yeah.
And Sean's buddies, Mikey Neal, who's James Neal's brother.
Yep.
The hockey player. And Matty.
Deal. And Matt Rostick.
Matt Rostick, who is a friend of ours. I feel like I've known Matt my entire life because he's been to every event we've ever gone.
Yeah, he's always at World Juniors or Cup Finals or something.
Sean would always bring him along, and Bob would always bring Sean along. Usually the World Juniors. He shows up at every time.
A lot, yeah.
So, but Matt is now a celebrity in his own right. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Super. Mikey Neal, by the way, is a great guy as well. Matt's a good-looking guy.
Handsome, yeah.
And he was cast in a reality show
which is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's called Very
Cavallari.
Very Cavallari.
I
don't listen to these shows. Now, who is she?
She was Laguna Beach originally, and then she was on the spin-off The Hills.
Oh,
and then she married Jay Cutler.
Right. So wait a second. Who was the girl from The Hills?
Lauren.
So was she her friend or something, or her
rival?
Oh, her rival.
Yeah, she was a bit of the vixen.
Okay, but shouldn't she have another guy? Wasn't Spencer or something?
Spencer, no, that was Heidi.
Oh, okay.
That's Heidi.
See, I didn't really watch that show.
Heidi was only on The Hills. She wasn't on Laguna Beach.
So this Very Cavallari, is she married to Jay Cutler?
She's married to Jay Cutler, yeah.
So
former NFL quarterback.
We found out that Maddie had been cast, and just so you know, reality shows, they're all a bunch of crock. Maddie was cast as a Canadian flame of this girl's best friend.
Yeah, he met her down in Nashville. We were there for Cup Final.
Oh, just met her in a bar?
Yeah.
Oh, and got her number or something?
Yeah, and then
she called and said, "You want to be on the show as my boyfriend?"
Yeah, or the guy who I'm going to try and date.
Right. So
of course he was available, so he went.
Well, I think I got a clip from Stoff can play a little bit of Maddie on Very Cavallari with.
Now he's only known on the show as the Canadian.
That's his only. Doesn't have a name.
They don't even
Canadian.
call him anything. The Canadian.
Matt, what do you do in old Canada?
I'm actually back in school right now for firefighting.
I don't really do anything. It's kind of fun sometimes.
That's true.
I could see that actually.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
He's just always kind of around.
I could definitely have fun doing nothing.
So yeah, there was the Canadian. He's already been written off the show. I think he had one episode.
Two. He was on two. The thing that's crazy is though that I couldn't wait because I thought they're just gonna completely carve him up, but they made him sound like the best guy ever. Like he was like the most handsome, sexy guy. And the lady, and even Jay Cutler liked him, which is stunning. Jay Cutler doesn't like anything.
It's just so funny.
At least it always appeared that way. Although Jay Cutler's great on that show.
He is?
Yeah, he comes across really as a pretty good dude.
Where is he? Is he done?
He's done. He came back last year and played, I think, for the Dolphins.
He was hoping he was going to get the
TV gig,
the Tony Romo kind of gig, and he didn't get it, right?
It did not happen.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to be somewhat likable in your career to get one of those to an extent.
This show, I think, is helping that, though, although it's probably with ladies. Because
but what about the fact he played for Dallas, though, too? I mean, Dallas.
Tony Romo, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, the Chicago Bears. It's not the Cowboys. You're right.
You know what I mean? I think that's the cachet that you need there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Stoff's telling me that Cutler, you can, interrupt on your mic. You are a part of the podcast.
My week was great.
I think he's the new Lester. We just ignore Stoff now. What did you say in my ear there?
I believe he did have an actual TV job, but then the Dolphins, Tannehill got injured, and he came back to replace him.
And then the TV job probably...
And now he's just doing the show, the reality show.
Right.
That's right.
I think Jason Witten maybe got his.
And now Jason Witten's getting ripped everywhere, right?
He's terrible.
Is it like I watched only a bit of that Monday Night Football game? Is he that they say that whole crew is a disaster?
Big old knee brace on, hitting the wrist. It doesn't matter. He pulls another rabbit out of his head.
Yeah, well, it's him and the Tessitore's all right.
Oh, okay.
But
anyway, I just saw Twitter.
But
blew up
Witten's
on
like not
Monday.
very good.
Oh. Yeah, there's no guarantee just because you're
exactly. Just because he's buddies with Romo, and Romo turned out to be such a success, it doesn't mean.
I mean, look at Ray Ferraro. He was a good player, but on television,
struggling.
Jeez, disaster. Hey, it's time for an episode of Dreams, brought to you by the Gansevoort Resort in Turks and Caicos.
James has dreams he remembers. James has dreams he remembers.
I just realized I did another episode of the week that was and didn't ask any of you about your week.
I remembered.
Gentlemen,
I got mine in.
Stoff squeezed one in. Lester, how was your week?
My week was fine. I spent some time in the home of Dan O'Toole.
Oh, Orono?
No,
Peterborough.
Peterborough, yes.
No, I thought you were staying at Dan's place.
That's the way it's saying.
That would have
Dan
been better.
hired me to play music for him.
Better story. I think I'm worried about Dan. I think he's lonely out in Orono.
You think?
Yeah, I think it was a bad calculation by him.
Maybe we should do it remote and do the pod from his house.
Well, maybe he should do the pod from his house first. He does have his own podcast.
Oh, that's true. Well,
it could be cross promotion, though.
I'm just trying to help the guy out. You said he's lonely. Let's go see him.
That would have been nice. What band was playing?
It was the Elton Ron band.
Oh, in
they're playing in Peterborough.
Yeah.
When you guys playing in Toronto?
You know what? We played an event called Vance Stock a couple of weeks ago. You know what, though? Check it out. We're going to be in Markham next year.
Ooh.
And as a matter of fact, you guys should come to this one, all of you, because my band, the Lester McLean band, is opening for Elton Ron in
Markham, so we get the full thing.
Oh, that's
at the what? The what?
At the Flatto Theater, the Flatco, or whatever. You never heard of it?
I don't know. I left Markham 10 years ago.
Part of the Markham Theater.
Part of my past.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy anymore.
Soccer moms and all that.
Puffy, your week?
I was all right, yeah.
I heard it hasn't gone so
well.
The
gambling has taken a bit of a turn.
Yeah? What's happened?
I've kind of gone a little bit of a run. It all started last week when we were in the studio. And it was with the Leafs in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, so Puffy had wagered
nothing. I had nothing on that game because I didn't have a feel for the Leafs Pittsburgh.
Right.
The Leafs have been on a roll. Pittsburgh's a good team. I'm like, I don't know who's going to win.
Lester, I felt very guilty because it was 1-0 Pittsburgh. I would say 12 minutes left in the third period. And the Leafs were coming a little bit. And Puffy was sitting next to me, as he always does. And I said, I got a feeling this is happening. And I saw Puffy's eyes lit up and goes, a feeling, Jimmy? He was on his phone so fast, putting down
and I went a little bit
sizable bet,
a little bigger than my usual stake.
And then 2 minutes later, Pittsburgh started to come the other way, and I'm like, yeah, Puffy, I lost the feeling. And you're like, damn it! No, you can't have a feeling that only lasts 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
So you went south, and then
since then I've been chasing and.
Didn't have a good cover last night. The Giants hurt you.
I had Atlanta minus 3.5, and I somehow gave up 8 points in the last 3 seconds.
You obviously don't have the look. I mean, if I do any gambling, I don't bet on my own team. Like, so I will not bet on the Habs.
Well, guess what, gentlemen? Jeff O'Neill is calling.
All right, Jeff, your thoughts.
Here we go. Hold on a second. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Why don't you ever answer your phone?
I was taping the podcast, or I must have been driving in for the podcast. I should tell you again, for legal rights, that we're actually taping the pod right now. What's going on?
So what, you answer your phone now? I've called you 5 times in the last 2 weeks.
What did you want? I just always assume it's going to be, nothing very important. Like last week you called me about your girlfriend's job interview. You wanted some advice. That was actually an important call. But, a lot of times it's just like, why do we have to do a Sports Center hit tonight? And I say, because we have to. And you say, okay, bye. Something like that.
Are you going to Turks and Caicos with the guy you lick all the time?
It's funny you were.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, which guy are you referring to in this one? Puffy?
The guy you lick and get deals from, because I want to go away for March break. Are you going?
I am going to the Gads Award in March break. Are you hoping to come at the same time?
What do you think about a couple's trip?
Well, as in you, me and my lovely bride, and you and your girl? And what about the kids? Because my kids are coming.
I'm not bringing my kids.
Well, I mean, it's worked okay. We've kind of hung out, our family and you and your lady at the World Juniors in a small doses at a hotel when we meet in the lobby once in a while. It works, but I don't know about a full week.
Can you hook it up or not? I don't even care if I see you or your family. Can you hook shit up or not?
We'll talk later. I'll try and help you. I'll try and get you the podcast discount. All right?
Yeah, just do your usual and you'll be good.
Goodbye, Jeff. He hung up.
Wow.
That's another special guest appearance.
You need to be sponsored by the Gansevoort now.
We were in the Dreams segment sponsored by the Gansevoort, so that was... So just so you people listen, none of these are set up. And this is what he does. He calls me every day
he's a caller.
And asks me something like this.
Like where everyone else in the world texts now, he calls.
And for a guy who is a multimillionaire, he always wants something.
I always love the ones whenever we're like away somewhere and he'll be like, buy me a sweatshirt. I'm not paying.
Yeah, the Super Bowl, he'll be like, the sweatshirt Brady's wearing right now in the scrum, I want it. I'm not paying. And I'll spend an hour looking around a store for the guy. Jeff, it's not on sale right now. Find it! Jeff O'Neill. So we can bill another special guest appearance by Jeff O'Neill.
Does he threaten
on
to
the
beat
podcast.
you up or something for these things? Or?
No, he's just... He's a piece of work. Yeah. You know what? You're going to have to dig this up, Stoff. I'm giving you short notice here. But Jeff, you know how he does a character on his radio show named Jerry?
Yes.
You've heard this, Lester?
I heard it, yes.
So Jerry is, Jerry is a Gary Bettman.
Yeah, it's knockoff.
Knockoff of Gary Bettman. And he did a song last week after pot was legalized in Canada called Jerry Got High.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard it.
Well, let's play it right now.
I was gonna work on the new CBA till I got high. I was gonna take the PA to the cleaners till I got high. But now I can't shut down the league, and I know why. Cause Jerry got high. Jerry got high. Jerry got high.
Oh my God.
I was gonna troll Quebec City before I got high.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna force the Leafs to trade Matthews before I got high. Now the 7 Canadian teams are staying put, and I know why. Cause Jerry got high. Jerry got high. Jerry got high.
Oh my goodness.
So good.
I think Brian Hayes helps write a lot of the lyrics.
I'm pretty sure I heard that Brian actually writes.
Yeah.
That
is just fantastic. Yeah. Do you think Bettman's heard any of this stuff?
I'm sure he knows about it.
As we were listening to that, you said which is a closer character? Is
it
Jerry to Gary Bettman
or Rod to Rod Smith?
Rod Baby to Rod Smith.
Yeah.
I would say Jerry's closer to Gary. To Rod.
I would love to see a sit down of Jerry with Gary.
Wow,
that would be amazing.
No question unanswered.
Oh man, what segment were we in? I can't remember.
We were Dreams.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Dreams. Brought to you by our friends at the Gansport. This is a quick one, but I had it the other night and I jotted it down. I'm on the golf range next to Tiger Woods.
Oh.
I've told you about my stress golf dreams that I have all the time. In this one, I can't swing. I'm either slapping it like a hockey puck and wristing it.
Okay,
that's what I'm doing, and it's going like 10 yards down the fairway. Brian Mudrick, Muddy, is right next to us.
A renowned golfer.
And every time he hits it, he's just bragging about his own golf. He's
nice.
Like, oh, pure.
Pure.
Sweet. Butter draw.
Butter draw.
So,
make the final.
So that's happening in my background while I'm slapping away.
Yeah.
Muddy is a very good golfer.
He is.
So then Tiger, there's a house right in the middle of the fairway of the driving range.
Okay.
It's about like 190 away. And Tiger says to me, if you can hit the house, you can play with me in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
That's a pretty good deal.
I remember in the middle of my dream being super excited. But he says you have to use an 8-iron. And like an 8-iron for me, maybe 155 max.
Yeah,
on an 8-iron. So I straddle up to the club, and finally I hit it pure, which in my dream rarely happens. So it's very exciting. I hit it pure, going at the house. At the last second, Puffy dives in front of the house with a baseball mitt, catches the ball, gets up and says,
I bet against you, mother.
I didn't think you had any, Jimmy.
That was my dream, and I think I woke up at that exact second. I was like, no!
Were you angry?
That is about your. I bet you that's about your feeling bad about his wager.
His gambling. I probably crept into it because that might have been. I think this dream was. When did we do the Leafs game? Thursday night.
Thursday night.
I think this was my Thursday or Friday night dream.
You felt bad.
So there you go. I felt guilty
shame
towards you. A lot of anger, though. That you're in my brain. You have a lot of pent up anger towards me. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
You're feeling it.
Speaking of characters on the show, by the way, that was brought to you by our friends at the Gansport. Now I have to try to hook up Jeff O'Neill. I'm a little terrified about that. Like, I've hooked up Bob.
Yeah.
But Dregs and the Dreg family is going down to the Gansevoort, I believe, this summer.
Very nice.
I look forward to bringing all you guys down, but O-Dog.
Especially O-Dog Unleashed.
Yeah, O-Dog Unleashed could be trouble.
Vacation home.
Like, I'd feel better if he was bringing the kids.
Perhaps you should vet your guests.
That'll be the best to be like, there'll be no more invites, James.
Exactly.
James, I don't give a about your podcast.
Well, tell him you'll get him if he makes an exclusive deal with our podcast to appear on 20 episodes.
If you want to come down to the Gansevoort March break, you'll get to see Jimmy and his family, and you'll get to see perhaps the O-Dog. It's going to be like one of those celebrity cruises.
And the thing is, like, a lot of times at the Gansevoort, they'll have celebrity guests there, right? So there could be other celebrities bigger than you and the O-Dog.
Usually there
Who's
are.
bigger than that?
Yeah, come on, seriously, Puffy. Let's hear the Gansevoort.
You work too hard, you need a vacation, so be like Jimmy and go to Turks and Caicos. Luxury and class of 5-star resort, you must book the Gansevoort. A nice dealer at the Gansevoort. Come to the Gansevoort.
You know, Dreams is the perfect segment to be sponsored because between your Dreams theme and the Gansevoort theme, I feel like I'm right there on the beach.
It's nice.
With my cocktail at hand.
Your what in hand?
Puffy's got to go pick up his kids soon. How long do we have?
We got about 10 minutes.
Because we have the intern search is coming up. Laura Cope is going to be our guest today. She's one of our intern finalists. But before, we were talking about characters. You know, the Rod Smith Baby character, the Jerry character that O-Dog has created, and my new favorite character, courtesy of our intern finalist, Scott Reynolds, 1999 Puffy. Let's hear what happens in episode 3.
Hey, Sean here again. It is 1999 and I am feeling fine. I'll be honest, my finances have taken a bit of a hit due to some tough luck on the gridiron this weekend, but I'm confident that I'll make it all back soon.
Hey Sean, you gotta cut back on the beers, dude. It looks like you're gaining some weight. I might have to start calling you Puffy.
Hey Zach, why don't you shut up and stick your tongue back in your girlfriend's where it belongs?
Man, I told you that in confidence.
Anywho, I'm starting to understand why they say this is the best time of your life. Having fun is way more important than grades or establishing norms for life as a stable adult.
Hey Puffy, we're heading out to the bar. You in?
Yeah, count me in, guys. Huh. Puffy. I like it.
It's like a trip down memory.
I guess that's probably the final installment, maybe, because that was we watched you go from the fine young man that you were. Yes. You discovered gambling, you discovered booze, and now you have your nickname, Puffy.
Nickname, Puffy.
Your true nickname was given you by Ned Verk. I think we established in episode
Darren
1.
Detition.
Episode 1 of the podcast,
yes,
I believe, right?
Yes.
Darren Detition.
Love that tune, by the way. That was.
Oh yeah.
What was that called? Who's that?
Something every morning or something.
No, but who did it? That was Mark
McGrath.
And what was the name of that band?
Smash Mouth.
No,
Sugar Ray, right?
Sugar Ray. Yes, thank you.
They were good, and then Mark McGrath. It's one of the weirdest transformations.
He's a weird looking
He became
dude
a game show host.
Did he?
Yeah, he was doing a bunch of those different. First, he was on like Inside.
Yeah, I think he owed some money, probably.
Really? Inside. Well, he was.
He might have hung around with 1999 Puffy.
No, but he was hosting Inside Edition or
really?
Yeah, he was. I think you're right. I think it was Inside Edition. One of those shows.
Like Mario Lopez does too.
Then he was on a game show. You're right. He's done a lot of things. I mean, he's kept himself sort of relevant, but the band sort of disappeared.
But they had that one album. Like those. Yeah. That was a great tune.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Anyway, Mark McGrath, R.I.P. Let's get him on the show.
R.I.P. He's not dead.
Oh, okay. Do you think he'll be cremated or have an open casket?
I think he'll get sprinkled.
You're right. The way he's looked recently, it looks like he's in an open casket.
He does not look very good.
Time for installment number, 4 of the intern search.
Rubber Boots Podcast Intern Search. We need someone to mail the merch when listeners win contests. Coffee, t-shirts, James's book. When need something, you're on the hook. Bring copies to the set. Help pay off Puff's gambling debt. Just be there to scratch our wrist. The bottom line is you'll be a shut your mouth. Hey man, I'm just talking about the Rubber Boots Podcast Intern.
That's slowly becoming my favorite one.
Hey, man, I'm just talking about the rubber boots. By the way, on interns, have you heard about this basketball player, Darius Baisley, I believe his pronunciation is, hotshot basketball player coming out of high school, and he's going to skip. You know, the NBA is reducing the age to the draft. They're going to get rid of this whole one-and-done thing that we see in college basketball.
Yeah, but it's not going to come till 2023.
Okay, but he's skipping the one-and-done thing.
Yeah.
And
he was committed to Syracuse, and then he decommitted.
Right, because New Balance, Lester, is paying him $1 million to be an intern.
Wow.
How can you be an intern, though, when you're getting paid $1 million? Why wouldn't they just say he's an employee?
I think it's just they're just being cute, probably, right? Or maybe
it's awesome,
maybe it's. I guess it wouldn't be working around some sort of legality.
But I kind of think like it sort of makes a lot of sense. Like he'll get experience, you know, dealing with the kind of business that he would be in if he's in that business.
But I don't think he'll be doing much of that. He'll just be training. Probably they're basically an excuse to train the whole time.
I guess a bit, yeah.
He's not going to be sitting in the office getting the New Balance VP of Marketing coffee.
Maybe.
Very interesting to see what happens with other players, right? So
yeah. Anyway, but I'm glad that one and done things. I mean, I think that was.
Well, it's just insane that like a basketball player has to go to college because it's crazy for them to go from high school to the NBA, right. But a hockey player can go from junior hockey at 18 right to the NHL, and no one says anything about it.
Right.
Like no one complained about McDavid going at 18.
Nope.
No, 100%. I think college players should be paid anyway. I just think that it was just kind of a farce to go to a place for a year when you're everybody knows thing. You're leaving, right? I miss the Fab 5 days.
I do. I miss that when I used to love college basketball when guys would stay for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, you could watch them.
You watch them and you get to hate them or love them.
Let's get to Laura Cope, our finalist this week.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
What's going on? Lester's here. Puffy's here. Puffy's got to leave because he's got to go pick up his kids in a second. So I was going to give Puffy the first question to you, Laura. Welcome, by the way, to the Rubber Boots Podcast. Thank you for all your faithful support and for being so patient when it took me about 8 months to respond to your application.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me on.
Puffy, do you have a question for Laura?
First off, Laura, are you related to George Cope? And if so, welcome to the team. George Cope is the big boss here at Bell.
Yeah, if you're George Cope's daughter, granddaughter, niece, we have no choice but to hire you and to actually have you take over the podcast.
Yes.
Okay, well, in that case, then yes, we're related.
So he's not your dad?
He is not.
Okay, that's a good thing. Puffy, you can go if you want. We don't want
have a good rest of the podcast, guys.
Okay.
I love you all.
Laura, tell us about yourself. We know we were intrigued by your resume that you were studying in Sweden, I think, last year when you wrote is correct. What were you studying, and what are you up to now?
So I'm currently back at Brock University. I'm in my 4th year of media and communication studies. And last year I did a year abroad in Sweden for a year.
Where were you?
It was really cool.
Where were you in Sweden?
So I was in a city called Karlstad, and it was like 3 hours west of Stockholm and 3 hours east of Oslo. So it was kind of like in the center of Sweden.
Oh, okay. I went up to Örnsköldsvik. Did you ever get up to Örnsköldsvik? Do you know where that is in Sweden? It's in northern Sweden.
I unfortunately didn't get to go all the way up north. I think I only did like Stockholm and Gothenburg. And
so why should we hire you to be the intern on the Rubber Boots Podcast? Sell yourself to us right now.
Well, it's my field of study. So I'm currently in a course that focuses on media and sports and how the media promotes sports and stuff. Okay. And I grew up playing sports and loving TSN. My dream job in high school was I wanted to run a Twitter account for an NHL team. So, this has always been something I've been interested in doing. I know the other applicants are all very qualified. I've been listening to all the other interviews.
They have been impressive, but I like that. We may, Scott Reynolds, he can do some material for us. Scott Erlinson can DJ for us, perhaps. Megan Wong, again, can erase Puffy's past.
Absolutely, on the internet, yes.
But we really need someone who can run the accounts.
That's a good point.
Put up more stuff every day. Like Jay and Dan, they have a guy. They got a guy.
They don't have anybody.
They did tweets like 1 million things a day.
That is definitely a leg up on the other competitors. Yeah. May I ask a question, if you don't mind? You said you wanted to run a hockey account at one point. Obviously, you like hockey. Who is your team and why?
So when I was little, I liked the Pittsburgh Penguins just because my hockey number when I played was 87, so it kind of like stuck.
Did you steal that from Sid? Did you wear it because of Sid?
Okay, so my memory of this event was I just asked my coach for like any number, and I just happened to get 87.
Really?
But it's always the assumption that I picked the number.
Because I would say if my kid asked for 87 or 99, I would say as a hockey father, you're not getting that number because you don't want to be that kid.
You don't want to put the pressure
wearing
on yourself.
87 or 99. So if that was Laura said, give me 80. Now, I appreciate the quote-unquote balls involved in doing that. But because you have to be cocky. You have to be. If you put on 87, Laura, you better be dominant. Were you dominant?
I mean, I was a star, second line.
See, you cannot have an 87 on the second line. You need to be a 14. A 14, Laura.
I know. I was a disappointment in the number.
So you said Pittsburgh. Did you change along the way?
Yeah, when I kind of like got old enough to, go out and make my own opinions, it's Chicago.
Really? Okay.
See, Chicago was my first team when I was a little kid.
Well, you've had a good run lately then with Chicago.
I like, the fact that Laura is a bit of a front runner, clearly.
Yeah.
She goes, picks teams that win Stanley Cups.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with us because we're, she's signed up with the right team here, hasn't
Absolutely. Now, so no Canadian team. If you had to pick a Canadian team, which team would you pick?
Honestly, probably Montreal because I have ties to the city.
That is the answer I'm looking for.
Laura.
As far as I'm concerned, you have won.
Is that your real answer, Laura? Or are you just sucking up to Lester and the Gravediggers?
It's my real answer. I spend my time in Quebec. My friends like the team.
Right.
Gotta support the good old Habs.
All right, that's fair. So besides being a kick-ass social media person for us, anything else you could bring the podcast? Could you help Puffy with his gambling debts at all? Do you have any musical abilities for Lester?
I can play the piano.
That's good. I don't play piano, so that's good.
All right. Like, are we talking, you took lessons in grade 4 and then that's it, or what?
I did it for... I think 5, 6 years, 7 years maybe.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I stopped before high school. I can still play the Mission Impossible theme song.
Now, what you're going to do, Laura, now here's what you have to do. When we hang up the phone, do you have a piano in your current residence?
I do not, unfortunately.
Oh, I was going to say you have to tape yourself. You need to find a piano and tape yourself doing the Mission Impossible theme to prove that you're not lying to us, and then we'll play it on the pod next week, and then we know you won't lying. So if you ever get in front of a piano, you need to do that for me, okay?
Okay, I can do that. I will do that.
Perhaps a local music store or something like that. Just go in and just tape yourself playing on your phone.
That's right. We want to hear it.
Yes.
Laura, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. You, like all of our other candidates, you seem like a super nice lady and lots of fun. And I like the idea that you could improve our social media account. So we're going to take you into careful consideration.
Alrighty, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Laura Cope, we love her. I tell you, the one thing, if out of this intern search, we've met some very nice people.
We've met some nice people and some very talented people.
Yeah.
A lot of talent out there.
I said this last week. Our demographic is just really quality individuals.
Mm-hmm.
All you listeners out there.
Imagine if we were people that were good. I'm just kidding.
Oh dear. So that was Laura Cope. We're through 4 finalists. We have a bunch more still to go. We're going to milk this baby all year long. I wanted one more thing before I left. Closing on a somewhat serious note, we've talked about Jonathan Pitra a lot on this podcast. Starting this week, so by the time you hear this podcast, it will be EB Awareness Week. Epidermolysis bullosa was the disease that Jonathan suffered from. He, of course, passed away this past April. And but the cause continues, and one of the things that Jonathan really wanted was for the attention that he got for EB and raising money and raising attention to continue after he was gone. He always said, let's keep the wave rolling. I had the privilege last week of meeting a young lady named Deanna, who's actually 26. She has EB and was the original butterfly child.
Wow.
She's a great friend of Matt Dunnigan, who's been working with EB a long time before I even met Jonathan.
Okay.
And Deanna, I think, was inspired. She was always involved in EB, but I think Jonathan inspired her too. And she wants to pick up the slack where he left off.
That's
just
awesome.
Just a beautiful young lady. an artist who I will show you later the paintings, and maybe we'll post them on our site.
That's a good idea.
Incredible artist. She's had her the hand that she painted with had to be removed in the past couple of years because of EB, but she had to retrain herself with her other hand and still paint just absolutely beautifully. So just before we leave you today, if you have a chance, go to Deborah.org, DeborahCanada.org. Just find out what you can. I know not everybody has money. You don't have to donate if you don't have any money. I understand that. But just remember Jonathan and think of people like Deanna, and anything you can do to help out would be great. We'll be wearing pins tonight on our broadcast that we're taping shortly after this podcast is over. And yeah, it's a wonderful cause, a disease, and unfortunately doesn't get a ton of attention because there's not that many who suffer from it. But the ones who do, it's one of the most painful diseases known to mankind. So I wanted to stick that in before we left. So thank you to our special guest stars today, Jeff O'Neill, Laura Cope,
brilliant cameo. Yes,
Laura Cope, our intern finalist. Thanks, Laura, for joining us. Thank you, Stoff, for doing all your typically amazing work, and Lester. And you think went pretty well without Puffy, maybe.
You know what? I see this is it's a nice two-shot here. I'm telling you. Tell you what, you know what I mean?
This is the Rubber Boots Podcast, Lester and Jimmy's podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. Here's the Rubber Boots guy to play us out.
Hey, how are ya? I got a question that I really wanna ask ya. Don't hang up, I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? I know it's a little strange, my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. And I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank or the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Do you really like the dunk tank at the fair? Dunk tank.
Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight?